Welcome to episode 14 of the MidLegs Podcast. It's been a little bit. Brunke, we have been very, very busy.
Very busy.
We've both got engaged since the last
Yeah,
episode.
we both lost our girlfriends, but we gained fiancés. It's
Yes.
big,
Oh, yeah.
big
No,
indeed.
mine was on a beach. It was really nice. There really wasn't much to it. I mean, it happened. You, meanwhile, have
We
a
had a
heck of a story from yours.
crazy. Well, to just backtrack a lot, when we first both knew that we were gonna do it, we were on the same day. We were gonna do the same day,
Yeah.
which I thought that was funny. We both had July 11th planned, and then neither of us ended up doing July 11th, which
No.
is
Well,
also kind of funny.
we both sat there and we like before we've recorded these podcasts for about the last month and a half, we've been looking around. All right, they're not around. Let's talk about it.
It's very true. Very true. But yeah, no, we had a crazy story. So I did mine in downtown Columbus. We're walking around along the Scioto Mile. If you know what that is, it's basically just like Franklinton area. It's a really nice like biking path, walking path for people that live in downtown Columbus or the Franklinton area, which to me is downtown, but I digress. So we're walking. Maybe 15 seconds away from getting to the spot where I'm doing this. I'd planned it out, scouted out this spot. We cross this street that has one of those like flashing pedestrian lights. It's not like a traffic light that has like red for stop, green for go, but like, hey, there's a pedestrian crossing, don't hit them. Somebody missed the memo because we cross the street and about 10 seconds later, I hear a yelp. And Tay and I turn around and there's a man like halfway in the air. He was riding his bike and he got hit by a car. And I mean, this is right before we did it. So Tay, being the great person that she is, and I also want to mention I would have done this as well if I wasn't so preoccupied.
Yeah.
But the great person she is, she turns around to go help the guy. Thankfully, a lot of people had stopped. There were a couple cars that had stopped already that were like, here's one. Let me do something real quick. There was one guy got out of his car and he goes, "Oh my God, are you okay?" And that's been my vocal stim for a while. But so a lot of people were helping out this guy. So I didn't feel bad when I turned to 10. I was like, he's good. Like, let's keep it moving. Totally made me not nervous about doing the thing though. So that was good. But then like 15 seconds later, we're walking up the stairs and I look at Tay and I go, by the way, that's going to be a really funny story in about 10 seconds. And she looks at me and she goes, "What?" And then I threw my umbrella to the side and my sister was there to take pictures. And once she saw my sister, the jig was up.
Oh, yeah.
But I knew that was going to happen. So I didn't know somebody was going to get hit by a car though. Good
And
Lord.
the good thing is the guy was all right, wasn't he?
The guy was totally fine. I think he was definitely more shaken than anything. The guy that hit him also stopped and was apologetic as you could be after hitting somebody with your car.
Yeah.
Hopefully I never have to find out what that feels like, but everybody was okay from what I know. I tried to go find the guy. I put out like a little PSA on TikTok, but nobody answered, nobody beckoned the call. So, but yeah, he was fine. All I have now is an insane engagement story.
Oh, yeah. Well, I made the joke because he did it the day before the World Cup final. I made the joke afterwards of that Martinez tackle. You turned around, you saw that.
I know, right? I know, right?
But,
same type of shit.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. But yeah, so we're both engaged, man.
Yeah.
We're a lot less wealthy than we used to be. That's for sure.
Very much so. Very
good
much
Lord.
so. Yeah, we might not make it to a Reds game this year. We'll have to see on that.
I actually think so. This is sidetracked now, but I think I'm planning on going either for Miami, the Friday, August 14th, 15th, or 16th, or I'm still thinking about going to Chicago for the series at Wrigley Field at the end of August. Which Wrigley Field's been a bucket list item of mine for a long time. I got a buddy that lives in Wrigleyville, so housing's not really a problem. I want to take advantage of it while he's still there.
Oh, you gotta. You got
You
it.
have to.
No,
Have to.
I nope, can't even think about that at the moment.
Fair
I
enough.
can't even afford the $10 Tuesdays. But you know what? The Reds, they've been okay. They've
But
looked all right since
okay.
the break. They looked good
Yo.
before the break. What? I mean, they won. They had a few big games against Philly. They're kind of finding their footing.
Yeah.
They're 6-3 since the break, and it's the perfect time so that we could sell off all the assets.
Yeah. Of
Fire
course.
sale time, especially
They
before the
look good.
lockout
They
next
won
year.
3 series in a row, and
Mhm.
now it's time to get rid of everybody that's making it happen. Oh, of course. I think probably without a doubt at this point we're going to be sellers at the deadline. I can't imagine that there's much desire in the clubhouse to buy at the deadline, especially given how much money we hashed out in the offseason that hasn't really panned out. But today we're going to talk about some players that we think could go. We're especially going to dial in on the free agents
Oh yeah.
because those are obviously pretty big selling points. And yeah, let's talk about it. Let's get underway.
Yeah, so I guess that, the first thing I want to talk about is where you want to be with this trade deadline. Like for me personally, there are about 5 or 6 people that I think I'm fine, like are untouchable. I would say, obviously, you're not going to touch Chase Burns. You're not going to touch Hunter Green. You're not going to touch Andrew Abbott. Nick Lodolo, maybe. Um, we'll wait around and
He's
see
a
for him.
toss up for me. I think we could get a really nice package for Nick Lodolo, and if one comes across Crawl's desk, I'm sure he'll think about it, but I don't think he goes.
Yeah. Outside of that, Ellie's safe, Sal's safe. I think that you give Edwin Arroyo a little bit more time to you're not
Oh,
going to
you don't get rid of Edwin Arroyo.
exactly.
I'm pretty heavily on that.
Yeah.
It's a really good thing that Sal is safe.
Hmm.
Most definitely safe because that's going to be a crucial piece to building this team in the
Hmm.
future. There's a fly. And LMAO.
I saw
That's
I
going to be
saw
really
it. I saw
crucial.
it. You can see it on the camera.
Hey, that's camera quality right there.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be a really crucial piece to building his team in the future. Not that these owners ever are thinking about that,
Hmm.
but to us, we're going to need him. The way that he's played this year, I don't see it really backing down unless he goes on like a huge slump. But yes, keeping Sal, big, big, big for us.
I think that, I think we both looked at the same article from Reds on
Mhm.
SI of kind of talking about who would be the best people to sell. And out of that, they had Brady Singer, who's really looked a lot better in the last few months. Yeah, get as much for him as you can. I think more than likely he's going to be the biggest piece that we have.
I love that we've convinced people that Brady Singer is good before this deadline. I never want to see him in a Reds jersey ever again. I'm done. I'm sick of him. I'll stand alone on that. If I am, if that's just me, it's just me. I cannot stand watching a Brady Singer outing. So get what we can for him. I'm okay with that. Goodbye.
He's a fine 4-5 in my opinion, but no, I mean
Sure.
if there's value there, you have to take that value.
Yeah.
Um,
Kind of the same way I feel about Tyler Stevenson.
I yeah, I
I
think
love the guy. I love the guy. I have 2 Reds jerseys, and one of them is Tyler Stevenson because I love the guy. I just feel like his value is good enough right now that we're never gonna get another chance like this to offload him at this rate,
I think
unless he heats up again. Like I don't know.
it's got to depend on what you can get. My biggest issue with it is more looking at a team construction
Mhm.
place because yeah, if you can get whatever you can,
Yeah.
but who's gonna catch for us after that?
You know what? PJ's looked okay in a couple of games. The issue is I'm also pretty sick of Jose Trevino. So I think holding on to Stevenson's in our best interest. I don't know if the money will agree.
I mean, I guess Jose Trevino would be fine as an everyday catcher. I feel like I would rather trade Trevino because Trevino is one of those guys that, we're not going to get a ton for him. We can probably get like a
Right.
top 15 prospect somewhere just to, because he is a very good asset. He's a good defensive catcher and he can swing the bat in some, big moments. He's at least a veteran presence.
Right.
And that's something that I'm sure a few teams wouldn't mind to have as, a very viable backup catcher.
Right. I think another good point to keeping Stevenson is that both Trevino and Higgins are 33 years old.
Yeah.
Not that Stevenson's a spring chicken, but he is younger. He's 29. Like he's got more time in general. Can Trevino or Higgins step into an everyday catcher role? I just don't see it.
And the other thing is like, I feel like as far as catchers, Alfredo Duno, but he's still down. I think he just got moved to Double A, I want to say.
Did he?
I believe he's in Double A now because I knew he started the season with the Dragons. Yeah,
Oh,
he's up to Double A now, I believe. Um, he got to play in the futures game, but yeah, I think that he's still in Double A, and maybe with the lockout you'd be able to get that. But if there's no baseball at all next year, because
right.
I did look at it, and even though they kind of merged the minor league teams, the minor league players under the major league players in that union, it is still separate. They do have separate CBAs. And so
That's really interesting.
if there's a lockout, the minor leagues will still occur, I think, based
That's
off of what I've
really
seen.
interesting. I did not know that.
I didn't think about it either, but if that's going to be big because that means that you're going to be able to have still these players develop because that was one big thing I was concerned about is, you're trading for all these prospects and then they're just sitting on the shelf for an entire year.
Right. Right.
I think it's in the best interest for everybody to keep the minor leagues going with that. So,
Yeah. I think the deadline is also, or excuse me, the lockout is also a very interesting topic when it comes to the deadline. What do you want to do before a season where we might not potentially play any baseball? I think there are probably a couple conversations with some other players that could move on. It also makes me think Arroyo needs to be in minors by the start of next season because I don't want him sitting idle. Like I would
yeah.
just
Well, the issue is so everybody on the 40 man would be in the lockout, and then everyone below that.
right. And Arroyo's
So
definitely on the 40 man.
Arroyo
So
is going to
that
be on the
yeah,
40 man list
that
then. So
blows.
that's going to be a little bit tough. But
Mm,
moving on down the list to Gino Suarez, who,
uh,
you know what? He's looked a lot better. Again, I don't think we're going to get a ton of value out of him, but he's started to find his footing again. I think if you give him an actual hitting coach that's not Chris Valanca, he could be somebody who could be a good bat, even if it is off the bench. I think that there is some value there, and you got to take that. Same thing with Nathaniel Lowe. I think
mhm.
that there is a good amount of value there. He was pretty good early in the year, and the same thing. I don't, obviously we haven't heard anything from Dane Myers in a while that I've seen, but if you can get something for Dane Myers, get something for Dane Myers.
Uh, I'm I'm a little concerned on um the Gino money front. I think he's just an expensive guy to have on coming off the bench. I would not mind keeping him. I really wouldn't. And I feel the same way about Lowe, but I am more confident in keeping Lowe simply because I think he adds a lot of value to this team when we're in a clutch hitting position, and we've seen it a couple times this season. So I bounce back and forth with those two a lot. I would prefer to keep both. Um, But like you said, I think it depends on the deal that comes over the desk.
Yeah.
And if they want to move, they want to move.
If we can get anything, especially outfielders, that's one of the biggest things. We need to
Hmm.
get, proven outfielders, or at the very least, get guys that can do something,
Right.
because we've had how many outfielders roll through where they just can't do anything. And, part of that, a lot of that is the fact that we keep trying to throw shortstops out in the outfield for how
Hmm.
long. And we did it again with the draft this year to
Yeah.
where we drafted a bunch of shortstops because, shortstops can, when they're a shortstop in high school, they can learn to play any position.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I
It's a
hate that.
it's a delusional thought
It
process.
is. I don't like it at all. Um, so we'll see on that. Looking at the pitchers, I think the big thing for me is especially, and this is where the lockout comes in. You've got a lot of these pitchers that we picked up in the bullpen, your Caleb Fergusons, your Brock Burks, your Pierce Johnsons, to where if they're sitting on the shelf for an entire year or even half a year next year, you know, how good are they going to come
Yeah.
back? That's a
Yeah.
big question. I'm completely fine, getting whatever you can for them and fully selling there.
Yeah.
Honestly, Brock Burke's probably the only one that's got any big value. We could probably get Pierce Johnson for a little bit of something. Caleb Ferguson, meh.
There's just no way. There's just no way anybody's gonna want Caleb Ferguson. I
He'll be a
apologize
package
to
deal.
him. I don't see it. I think of the pitchers, Brock Burke's the one I'm pretty hard-hatted or um pretty keen on keeping.
Mm-hmm.
Just because he's been so good lately. I think he's scoreless in his last 6 outings, which is really good.
But
That's
what's he going to do for us for the rest of the year? We're
I
not going
know.
to do
I
anything for the
agree with
rest of the
that.
year. If we can get something for him, if we can get a top 5 prospect from one of these organizations for him,
That ain't
we
happening,
got to
brother.
take that. We got it, even if it's a top 10 prospect.
I don't
You
think it's
know,
happening. I don't think he's got that type of value. You think so?
he could. We don't know what the market's going to look like.
Yeah, you're right.
That's one of
You're
the
right.
big question marks is what we're seeing very few trades. I mean, albeit it's a late deadline this year, which I hated. The trade deadline should always be July 31st at 4 p.m. I hate that it's not.
What is it this year?
It's August 3rd at like
Yeah,
6. Like that, to
it's
me,
weird.
that's ridiculous. I hate, like, it was always supposed to be, it's the end of July. At the end of July, you're supposed to know. And now the last few years, it's been where it's August 1st, it's August 2nd. Now it's August 3rd.
Who
Yeah.
knows why? I would love to hear the reasoning on
I would
that.
imagine it's got to be something with the weekend, but,
Hmm.
I still think I think that's stupid. I would much rather, have it to where they've got I'd much rather have it to where it's on July 31st.
Yeah.
But there hasn't been, I mean, especially for the trade deadline being a week away, there hasn't been much. There was a surprising trade with the Red Sox where like they made a move and I really wasn't sure about it. Let me see if I can find it
I
because
missed that.
yeah, I mean it was like late. I want to say it was late Saturday night. Yeah, they traded Connerly early for Curtis Mead to the Nationals.
Mm,
Um, which
okay.
I don't know. Like that's not. We have no clue what the market is going to be necessarily.
Yeah.
The market could be flooded. The market could not. There could be a lot of teams that are sitting there and going, this is a big push. We want to make sure to get in the playoffs before we get into the lockout. And I don't think the Reds are on that list. And so I think
I guess it really does.
because that's the
Who's our
big
next?
question.
We have Cleveland next, and then okay. We have a 3-game series against Cleveland and a 4-game series against Pittsburgh.
Mhm.
If we were 6-1 at the end of those 7 games, I think this entire conversation changes. I think there is a different thought process in the clubhouse about what we do with the pitchers, especially. Maybe not the low years on the contract batters, but I don't know. I think the next guy we're going to mention for sure will not move if that's the case. But other than that, nothing changes. It's going to be interesting. I agree with you. It is really what's the value going to look like?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably the biggest piece we haven't talked about that could give us a really big market, and I don't know if we want to let him go, is Spencer Steer. And that's we've kind of had that taken out of our hands a little bit because he's just going on the 10-day IL with, I believe, a hand injury. But
literally 30 minutes ago, an hour ago.
Right before we started recording.
It's great. Sick. Love it.
So, I mean, like, maybe somebody will still take him with that, but I think that kind of shutters that down a little bit. I don't think that you really...
Probably best for us, to be honest. It doesn't even force us to make a decision.
Yeah. I don't think you let him go. I think he's still too valuable. I think he's somebody who can be that fourth kind of option batting wise. He's been one of the more consistent bats, which isn't saying much on this team, but it's the truth.
This is true.
But yeah, I think you would have kept him no matter what. Now, the other big question is JJ Bleday. Is there a market for JJ Bleday?
Unfortunately, I don't think so. However, we go back to the point of outfielders right now. Mm-hmm. I think there is probably some good value in that aspect. But he's been not great the last month. I had his stats pulled up. I lost him. I'm not going to try and get him back. But
he had a few home runs. He's had a few home runs, but
since the split, he's batting 182, 289 OBP, 562 OPS. He's got 1 RBI, 1 home run. But that's only 9 games. So, how much do you really weigh into that? It really depends on who you're talking to. But you're right. Is there a market? I think it's another one of those guys that you just kind of got to hear offers on it. If you really like one, then you got to go for it. I would not. I think this is a loss of a trade deadline if we don't go get some form of a prospect that we are excited about, though.
Yeah. I mean, if you can get anything for Bleday, because Bleday, it kind of seems, as much as I love Scooter Gennett, it's kind of that same thing where we find somebody off the scrap heap that isn't absolute garbage.
Yeah.
And he ends up playing on our team for a few years, and then we trade him for something.
Yeah.
Becomes a little bit of a cult favorite and then goes from there.
True.
I think that's what it is. A lot of people have sat there. I saw specifically Reds on SI are like, no, you got to keep him.
For Bleday?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I'm down. The way that this man kind of carried our team in some low moments this season, given this is still a below 500 team, so like carried is in big quotation marks, but he has been the makings of a cult hero. I hate to agree. But it really does come down to who else wants him and what are they willing to give us.
If you can get any, and this is what my thought is right now, especially heading into this lockout. If you can get anything for anybody that isn't in that like core 6 of your 3 good pitchers, your 3 good pitchers, Ellie, Sal, and Steer. I think outside of that, anything you can get for anybody. And we haven't even talked about Emilio Pagan, who...
Oh, yeah. Wow, good point.
He should be gone.
Emilio Pagan?
Get him gone. Gone.
If I just don't want to. I don't want to offload somebody just to offload him, though. It's my thing, especially the way this bullpen plays.
Why not? I mean, I think that you want to get as many prospects as you can. I'm fine. Or heck, even if you can get, What if you've got somebody who's just kind of languishing on a bench somewhere, kind of a younger guy, like, somebody younger than like 27 that's just kind of sitting on the bench right now, can't break through at the major league level, trade him, get him,
I agree.
see if you can get something. I think I can compare this trade deadline to like 2019. Remember what 2019 was? We had Yasiel Puig, we had all these guys that we were supposed to have such a big season, and it just didn't happen,
No.
and we ended up having a major fire sale that year. And along with that, we also got just got some guys off the scrap, like Kevin Gossman, for example, which we both forgot. There was a trivia question we found the other day. Like who
Oh yeah,
was the
I
last
forgot
Red to
Kevin
throw an
Gossman played
immaculate
for us.
inning?
That's
Kevin
crazy.
Gossman. That season ended after Amir Garrett charged the Pirates. For me.
It really
And the
did.
rest of that season was memory hole. But that's what you see. I mean, I think that if you can grab guys like that, and maybe you can be able to re-sign them.
Hmm.
I think it's a very comparable thing. Obviously nobody knew about what was going to happen with COVID in 2020 at that point, but this time but I think it's that same thing.
Yeah. Are there any young guys you would consider moving on? Um, Maybe for a different type of package.
Uh
For me, no.
no, I
I've
don't
been
think
looking
so.
through a couple. Blake Dunn, I'd like to keep him. McLean, as much as I complain about him, he can stay.
There's also not a market. There's nobody's
No,
going to want him.
no, nobody's gonna want these guys. One name I was keen to mention, but I think I've eased on it a bit right now is Cabrian Hayes. I think it goes down to the market type thing too. His bat's just been so bad this year. The defensive work really hasn't been anything like to run home about. So
He did hit a home run this
he
weekend.
did hit a home run, which but we can't just stand here and be like, yeah, he hit
Yeah,
a home
well, no,
run.
you can once in a while. He's had like 5 home runs this year, but it's literally like you forget he exists, and then hey, he hit a home run.
That's just so sad.
Nice.
Just
Okay.
so sad. But yeah, I don't know. I'm with you. I don't think there's any of these guys. I'd like to keep Dane Myers. I'm just trying to find names we haven't mentioned yet. I think we sound like we're on different pages with Arroyo. I think it's keep Arroyo at all costs. But hey, you never know. You never know the offer that
I think if
you
it's the
get to
right
hear.
offer, but I do agree, like Arroyo is probably because most of the other guys, most of these other prospects have been in there enough. I don't think you quite get rid of him yet.
No, no, no,
Um,
no, no.
but I think it's if you get the right offer, then maybe, but
Hmm.
probably not. The biggest thing is
We could get a big Noelvi offer, but I doubt it.
maybe
Hmm.
the biggest thing is we don't want to have it like we don't want to have it like 2023 where we just sit around and we don't do anything. Because this is the whole reason. Remember that we were 10 games above 500 at
Hmm.
that 2023 trade deadline, and we traded for Sam Maul, and that
Yeah,
was it.
everybody got better, and we did not.
And we did not, and we missed the
Hmm.
playoffs. And
Yeah,
so, uh, I think it's the opposite side of the coin here, but you got to be active. Don't
yeah,
rest on your laurels, Nick Kroll.
yeah.
Do something. So, um,
So, uh, genuinely answer me here. If we are not, if we are 55 and 55 in 6 days from now, what do you want to do?
still sell.
You want to sell?
Yes.
Hmm.
Because I don't
I
think,
think this
look,
is the delusion in me.
well, but here's the thing. How many times have we done this? We've done this so many times before where we've had this nice little jump. We buy at the trade. Look at last year. We bought at the trade deadline and then we cratered for 2 weeks. Like
That was so
I'm not
disappointing.
sold. This isn't a team. I've been out on them since the end of May. I'm still out on them now. Like it's not going to change anything.
No, I
I'm
really liked what I
sorry.
saw
It's
last
not.
couple of games.
Like,
I've been lacking on watching the Reds
mm,
lately, and I'll be the first to admit that. Totally missed it Saturday. I was drinking at the Crew game,
yeah,
but
which we got to talk about that soon.
we will. We'll get there. Don't worry. I'm not letting you get out of here without talking about that.
Yeah, I know.
But Friday and Sunday, I watched both of those Cards games, and the way this team really like handled themselves, I respected it a lot, and it makes me feel some type of way. We come up against a Guards team that is totally sweepable at the moment. Don't know what happened to them.
Oh,
They, I love,
it's the Guardians.
yeah,
They don't score
you're right.
runs.
This is
They don't score runs. This is them returning to mean.
It's really interesting too because Guards. I don't think they're low on injuries at all.
No,
They're sitting with
this
their
latest
regular
losing
lineup.
streak has been after Jose Ramirez got back from injury.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Two to the Twins too, who are not a great team this year.
No.
Rays, I get it. They've been playing well, but I digress. We have a chance to turn this shit around. Will it happen? Who knows? We'll see.
I don't think it's a high enough probability. And even if we do go, what? We get swept by the Dodgers again or the Braves? Like, we are not a World Series contender. I'm not going to pretend like we can make a World Series. And we got to build for that. If we can get anything for it, we got to build for it.
You're right.
Well, you got 3 minutes to ream me.
What a game. You guys should not have lost that game. You're way better
I know
than
we
us.
shouldn't have. I don't know why Pat Noonan still has a job.
So, over the weekend, if you aren't aware, the Columbus Crew and FC Cincinnati played in what we call Hell is Real. The best rivalry name in sports. And the Crew won with what I truly believe, and I'm so sorry to say this to you, is the worst team we fielded since 2020.
Yeah.
We just made a bunch of really good signings. They just haven't seen the field yet. They're not really fit. Rex Mendez isn't in there yet. Eric Bailly's not in there yet. Those are both really big names in Europe that are now coming to the MLS to come play for the Crew, but they're not fit yet. So this was going to be the bridge to something bad, but it wasn't. Crew go down 1-0 early, and then they fight back the whole game. And by fight back, I mean Cincinnati lays down and dies. Don't know why. They just decided that they were done. They get to Columbus and they forget how to play. I don't understand it. Pat Noonan, dude, heads on the chopping block. What are you doing?
I don't know how it's Monday, and I don't know how he should have been left in Columbus. They should have thrown him in the Scioto River.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like, what are you holding on to? They're in 7th place in the East right now. For comparison, the Crew are in 11th. Not great. Those two positions are separated by like 4 points, I believe, at the moment. So, it's not really singing anything here, but it's still pretty wild to me that Pat Noonan isn't at least on some sort of chopping block at the moment, and he might be. We just don't know. But that is a really good SEC team that lost to a really bad Crew team, and now I think that is the problem with the culture that is in FCC at the moment.
Well, we've had such a thing of where we're good now, and so everyone's just going to love us, and then we haven't done anything to really improve ourselves at all. And it didn't help. What, we almost signed Neymar, and that fell through.
Yeah, almost signed Neymar. I don't think that was ever that close to happening.
The rumors were there.
Well, here's the thing: Lewandowski just went to Chicago, so I could be wrong. Maybe he was close to signing with FCC, but who knows? I just don't think it was. I just don't think that was ever happening. I think a lot of these older players use MLS clubs as bargaining chips to get a better deal, and that's just what happens.
All I know is that I watched it, and then it was disappointing, and then it was even more disappointing. And I hate. Oh, you were in attendance. You were quite happy and quite drunk, and then yelling at us because the only fight we showed in the second half was quite literally fighting, which I enjoyed because I hate anything yellow and gold at this point. But Yeah, no.
Yeah, it was rough. It was a rough outing, but
That was bad.
I won't beat on you too much. It's
No.
okay. You guys will probably get your get back in Cincinnati in a couple of weeks.
I
So
hope so. I hope so. But maybe not if Pat Noonan's still the coach. But
maybe not. Maybe not.
that'll
We'll
wrap
see.
up the MidLegs podcast. That's Maxton Brunke. I'm Carl Blalock. Follow us on socials. We'll see you next week.